YouTube. What is going on? What is going on? Man. So, if you saw last night, the car stayed there the whole night, you know. And I had a headache too, man. I couldn't go to sleep. I normally take BC even though, it's bad for you, but I didn't have any. So I just ended up taking a Benadryl. And I'm not gonna say that I'm Benadryl doesn't make me drowsy, but like the last couple times I've taken it, like for you know little ailments and stuff like that, it really hasn't made me drowsy. I mean, that was taking like two, but that's all I had last night, so I just took one and I laid. I went on to sleep. I woke up probably about I think I probably got up about 4:30, maybe 5, right? And so I had looked at my phone at the weather prior to like laying it down. And so like the sun was gonna come up to like 7:36. So like, all right, cool. But I didn't know what time the place opened, right? So next thing I know, I wake up, I'm hearing air brakes popping and so I get out the bed, I look, and it was a truck that came behind me last night. He had already run around me. It was like 6 trucks, untarped, unchained, just gone, like getting unloaded. So I'm like, man, I must have been sleeping hard because I didn't hear none of these trucks drive by me, right? So what was throwing me off was I seen a truck and he was so far back, so I was like, man, I came in gate 2 because I couldn't go in gate 1 because gate 1 was like closed, right? So I'm like, man, do I have to leave and go all the way back down to like gate 1? Because I'm looking at the map on my phone and I'm like, okay, you can go through gate 1, come all the way down, and the road like drives underneath the overpass all the way over here to this spot. So like gate 1 is like, I guess, where you go get loaded. And then gate 2 is like where you get unloaded. I found it out. So I go over there and the guy that's unloading, he's like, that's your truck over there? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, man, you just pull down in the parking lot right here because there was a parking lot to the left. He's like, yeah, just pull to the parking lot. You can untarp and unchain and everything like that. And you just make, the turn and, come up against the side of the building. And so they got like a crane. Well, like they standing in the building, but the crane like actually goes outside the building. So they pick your coil up and they take it off or whatever like that. So I did all that. Got untarped, got unchained, everything like that. Dispatch didn't call, so I said, well, I need to go get some diesel, I need to go use the bathroom or whatnot like that, take a leak. So I drive down to the pilot. So when like the pilot was like 30 miles away, and plus I needed to scan this particular load because since I didn't get the load in my app, I wasn't able to like accept the load and like actually scan it from my phone. So I had to just scan it from the truck stop or whatnot like that. So he called me, and so the load is at the place that I told y'all, like, was it last week or whatever the week, like in Shelbyville, Tennessee. So I'm like, whatever I do, we not getting on 231, period. But actually, coming from like over there where I was at, over in Chattanooga, getting on 24 and getting off over there, there's actually just as good, but it's a better ride than the ride that I take to leave back out of there. So I went over there and there was a guy, I made it over there, got my paperwork and whatnot like that, and went across the street to get loaded. There was a guy in front of me, so I guess they went on break or something when it was time for me to pull up. So I was talking to a guy on the CB, and I'm so used to like, I'm like awkward, right? It's awkward to me to be holding a conversation with a stranger on the CB. Like, we can talk like, hey, state trooper up ahead, watch your speed, or, way station open, something like that, or hey, the left lane gonna be closed by the time you make it to mile marker such and such. You might well just go ahead and get in, the right lane or whatever like that. But me and this guy were just having a full blown conversation, and I'm somewhat of an introvert, so I'm giving him my, all right, man, we can end the conversation type vibe. I'm like, oh, like he'll say something like, oh, okay, yeah, like that. I'm not giving any further commentary. He's giving more commentary. So, like, we were talking for like 5 minutes, and like if you just really count 5 minutes, that's really a long time to be talking to somebody for 5 minutes. And he was just talking about, he was trying to get unloaded, and something about his company, they're running like 70 loads or something somewhere. Like he's like making like a triangle or whatever like that. And, probably by minute 3, I had kind of got out of the introvert. So I'm like, well, we having a full-blown conversation. So, we might as well just talk now, right? But I guess somebody came out, and because he was like, he's going to call the lady again to get unloaded. And so by that time, the guys, they came back over to load my truck. Now, man, the stuff is 45. What I got is 45 foot, and I got one piece that's 43. And I'm going to be honest with you. I said it. I got to get me a 3-door headache rack, because I'm looking at my tarp, they getting wet. I'm looking at my my binders, they getting rusted because they getting rained on and all that good stuff like that. So I'm like, man, I need to get that 3-door so I can hang all this stuff up on the inside. I ain't got to worry about it falling, then stuff my tarps in there. Because the guy was like, is it okay if we, if the stuff sits on your tarps? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, I see how guys like put it on the foot of the little rack that I got, the headache rack I got. I don't like it. That's not what I was acquiesced to when I first got in truck driving. So that's just not what I'm used to or whatever like that. And like I said, I've lost 2 tarps because of it. One of them I lost because the bungee broke. Then I bought like a 1-inch strap, and it broke. So I'm like, man, that's like $900 when you add in, you think about it. And I'm thinking like this headache rack, what it cost, because this headache rack was like $1,500, and like the 3-door was like $15. So at the time, like I said, well, I don't want to get the 3-door. I just get this one, But ended up just, basically when you add in the 2 tarps that I lost, I basically bought, the 3-door, right? So that's my plan for next year. That's gonna be best. Well, let me preface this. Hopefully, right? That's one of my larger purchases next year, hopefully. But, things happen. But I have that planned out. So what I'm hoping is over here they sell used headache racks. So I'm going to try to see if it's a possibility, because it's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the one that I got. I mean, nothing at all, other than, just it's been on the truck. If they would give me a credit or some type of thing towards the 3-door, they probably won't. But one thing that one of my buddies always tell me, you never know until you ask. The worst thing they can say is no. They may say it. Now the emotion that they use when they say it, it may throw you a little bit. But the worst thing that they can say is no. But that's that. So this little run right here, it was 200 miles flat. Probably about 206. Paying right at, might well say $4, when you add stuff in. So since I drove all the way to the place last night, I had some time to kill. So I went by the Petro at exit 299, because I'm in Alabama right now, and got me a shower, sat down and ate. and I got over here. So my thing was, I'm like, you know what? I'm probably gonna be the only truck here tonight, because when I got to the Petro, I was telling myself, Shot, do not get in the truck and just say, I'm not driving. Don't get in the truck and say that. Go to the place. It's getting that time. You didn't have but like one option to work with this morning, even though I probably was given the one option, but I'll get to that in a minute. But get to the place. And so, I don't know how many of y'all been to Birmingham. I don't know how many of y'all been on 280. Terrible. Terrible. I'm talking like this is 285 like on creatine, right? This is like 285 is steroids. 280 is creatine. Like, it's awful. It's just this. And then they got like red lights at the bottom of downgrades. They got red lights at the top of upgrades. And I'm sitting up here like, why is this the only route that's 4-lane that y'all have carved out to make it to, like, you know, these particular parts? Obviously, what I probably could have done, because I'm not too far away from Talladega, Alabama. I probably could have went down a little bit further and got off over there and managed to get my way back over here. But I'm not that cold, like, as far as like navigating. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get down here 65, ride 65 down to 459 and get off on 280. Now the killing part about it is when I got off of 459, I'm looking on my map and it's like, matter of fact, before I even took off, it was red. Like right when you get off of 459 on Twitter, it was red. I'm like, man, come on. So man, up and down, up and down, up and down, red light, red light, red light. Finally, we break out, and I get back here, and so I'm riding. So there's another guy behind me. I'm not sure if it was the guy that I saw like in Birmingham, because what he did was he hopped on 20 East. I kept down 65 because I said I would get on 459. And then I saw another guy too, right? You know, that had passed me as well. And when I got here, it was, I think it's 3 trucks in front of me, and then there was a guy telling me when we came in. Because the place that we're delivering to, it used to be a older place, but I guess it's out of business now. And so like the place that we picked up at, I guess they have an operation that they're opening up down here. And so we're bringing stuff down here. I don't know. Well, it says it's a job site. It's a job site. So I don't know if they are just constructing the place or whatever like that. But like I said, I mean, you could literally, I'm being honest, you could literally, well, no, because that'll be, you don't want to do that. But I'm saying that if you felt like it, if they were bringing like a bunch of these loads in here, you could probably literally leave here and deadhead all the way back up there and come back down here, and you still be over 2,000 miles, you know. So I mean, if you, but the thing about it is it's only 5 pieces of material on here, but they're heavy. They're like heavy. But you know, it's just me. But I ain't trying to do all that. Today just Monday too, man. It's like tomorrow Tuesday, so I don't know. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see, because like I said, it's 3 guys in front of me, then there's a guy behind me. So it's gonna be interesting tomorrow to see where we all go to. You know, everybody got a preference. You know, some people probably prefer running down, and I'm up here thinking. Now, probably if I want to stop and took a shower, a much needed shower, and ate, I probably could have been the first truck here, or at least the second one. I feel like that. But you know, it is what it is. My hope is I I would want to get something to probably run out to Texas. Um, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? But but yeah, man, 280, terrible. Um, I started reading this book too, man. Any of y'all reading y'all downtime? It's an interesting book. I was trying to hurry up and read it over the weekend, but I got like I was doing like some other stuff, and like I just couldn't spend the whole day reading it. I did read another book over the weekend though. I read in like 2 days. They got the same amount of pages in them, probably about 200 and about two. Well, the other one had about 280 pages. This one has over 280, but as far as like the book itself, like what you're reading aside from the notes, it's only like 252 pages, right? So that's what I'll probably be doing. Um, you know. But anyway, man, y'all be safe out there, man, and keep the wheels turning.